Hey guys, Rick at Heel and Field Farm. Today we're going to talk about CSAs, community supported agriculture, and whether or not it's right for your farm or homestead. It is a good way to make money and bring in money consistently, but at the same time, there's a lot of work, and that's a big aspect you have to ask yourself before you put yourself in that business position. So the advantages to you, the farmer, you get payment prior to season, which gives you operating income throughout the season. But you can also do that a different way. You don't have to get it all up front. You could do monthly payments or even weekly payments. You would have a contract with this person, and they're basically agreeing to buy this much produce every week or this much produce every month, and that's a set thing that you can count on because there's a contract, and they're going to pick up their produce every week, and either they've already paid for it or they're going to agree to the contract terms and pay you consistently the way that you guys have worked things out. So it gives you the option of either getting the money up front, which boosts your operating income, or giving you a steady income knowing that you're already going to sell it every single week or month or however you do it. So, and maybe you want to offer discounts if they pay everything up front, which is a great idea. Maybe you give them 5-10% discounted rate of the total cost and charge the people that want to pay monthly a regular price, and that will most likely urge people to want to pay up front and for the season, and then you have a better idea of what you're selling all the time. So definitely the contract is important though. It's going to spell out the terms of what you're selling and what they're going to get and how much they're paying. So maybe they want vegetables certain amount, and you have to meet that need, and they're going to meet that payment requirement. At the same time, you don't just have to do vegetables. You could do eggs. Maybe they want a dozen or 2 dozen eggs every single week. You can add that in. You can do livestock. As a CSA, you could raise pigs or sheep or goats, or if that's what they want, maybe even cows if you have a big enough operation, and they pay so much a month towards the feed costs and all that up until they're raised, say 6 months, and then they're responsible for any butcher fees, and you just send them to the butcher for them. And that's a great way to raise livestock, keep your overhead down, and they're paying to feed their animal that you're basically just raising it for them and using your land, renting it out almost. So you could even expand into cut flowers. Maybe somebody wants a different bouquet every week. Maybe it would just be a different thing you could do and just raise some cut flowers and add a bouquet to their box every week. More of a thank you. And that'll tickle people's fancy. I think you go out and you do that little bit extra, and they get their vegetables every week and a nice fresh bouquet that they can put on their dinner table, and it just says that you're thinking of them and you appreciate their business. So, and some other benefits, you can plan out your working and your schedule and your routine. So you're going to set your day that they're going to pick up. So say that's a Friday that they're going to pick up, and all the boxes are going to be ready by a certain time on that Friday. Well, then you need to plan out the rest of your week. Maybe you take Sundays off. That's great. And then Monday it's garden maintenance, it's pruning, insect control, stuff like that. But then come Thursday afternoon, you're harvesting. Thursday evening, you're cleaning the produce and you're getting them into the box and ready. So, and while we're on the subject of boxes, it's another great way that you could even promote your farm. Maybe you get some boxes made, you know, with your company logo on it that they bring every week. Maybe you do something as simple as just like a reusable shopping bag with your logo, and they come every week with that bag, they fill it up and they leave. But that's still great advertising, because they get company and like, oh, hey, where'd you get that? And then they tell you, and then, hey, that's more business for you. So definitely incorporate your logo into however you're selling or giving the produce out, and that will help generate sales in the long term. So there are some challenges with this though, and this can be a struggle no matter what. But you know, part of this is knowing that, you know, you've already pre-sold this amount, so you have to grow this amount. So you have to know how much to plant ahead, okay? Because you need to fill that contract. So maybe work something into that contract, like you will fill the needs the best of your ability, and if you can't, you will make substitutions, or if a certain harvest isn't ready by said date, then you will make it right as soon as the harvest is. So maybe you have to give some kind of financial kickback to make it even. That's a possibility. Hopefully not, but maybe weather, you know, holds back the harvest that week. You know, maybe you don't have enough ripened tomatoes. That's a problem. You need to find a way to solve it, and that's a good reason to have the contract, because you can go back to it and said, okay, well, tomatoes aren't ready, but we can substitute this to make up the difference this week. You know, weather, you can't help the weather. It's going to be what it's going to be, and you have to make the best out of it. If you're growing in a hoop house, that's great. It's going to help, you know, alleviate the weather problem. But if you're growing out in a field and you get, you know, weeks and weeks of rain, or days and days of rain, and your plants start dying, well, then, you know, you're going to have some issues. So insect control, you can't always control insects. You can do the best you can, but it doesn't take long once a garden gets insects, and they can do some serious damage. So that's another challenge that you could face. And then attracting members, especially if you're a new startup type farm, it may not be easy for you to get members right away. My suggestion is maybe put up some flyers at your town offices that this is what you're doing, because they get a lot of foot traffic in there. And you know, you can put signs out by the road, you could do mailers, but you know, that's an investment that you have to be ready to make. So there are ways, you know, Facebook pages, yeah, lots of different ways that you can do it, but you have to find a good solid way to get your name out there. I would suggest maybe even an email list, pretty simple, and you can tell them, you know, this, what you're doing, why you're doing it, how this is going to save them money, and that's going to be a big selling point, especially those people that are going to the store every week and they're dealing with a middleman and the higher prices, because now you've eliminated that middleman, you're saving them money, you're making yourself money, so it's kind of a win-win all the way around. So some other pros of this though, you know, like I just said, you're saving both parties money. You have no middleman, so you're growing and then selling to that consumer, and then you can, you know, name your price according to the market or what's fair, but you should have all that worked out by the beginning of the season. So it's a great way to build relationships with the community, because you know, you're meeting with these people all the time, and you know, you're seeing them every week, and you know, it becomes a solid business and a business plan that you can count on. So it's also a great way to sell at maybe farmers markets. Maybe you know, bring produce every week, but if you advertise that you're doing a CSA at the farmers market and you have the, you know, the customers come in, that's a great way to pre-sell what you're bringing. And then, you know, maybe you pack 10 or 12 boxes ready to go, and then the customers just come to your farmer's market. If you're traveling, they don't have to come to your farm, depending, you know, where you're going. So there are some pros and cons, obviously. Any business is going to have those, but this will, in the short term and long term, generate income that you can run your farm off of. And at the same time, it can help you save some money, because if your customer base is paying up front, well, now you can go buy your seeds or fertilizer and all that probably at a bulk price versus if you're doing it packet at a time. So that will lower your cost, that you can, you know, make a better profit overall. So it's definitely something to think about if you're, you know, into farming, whether it be livestock, cut flowers, produce, eggs. There's a lot of ways to do it. You know, check out your area, see about competition and what the going rates are. You know, check your local supermarkets, check their produce, see what their prices are. You know, check 3 or 4 and see how, you know, competitive you can be within that. So, but hope this has been helpful for you guys, and we'll see you next time, and have a good day.